Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to the Scream Scene. On today's podcast, I have some very special guests. First off, I'm Jody Dean, filmmaker, horror lover, YouTuber, own a haunted house attraction. And what I like to do on the channel is I like to bring people on that are connected to all those things. And today, I got people that are very interested in being in the film world. They're doing things in the film world. This gentleman's doing stuff with lighting. She's doing stuff with voice acting. Approaching acting to do some bigger things, and I see a lot of big things to come. So I wanted to bring them on. We got Lauren and Marcus here. What's going on, guys?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having us.
Thank
Absolutely, man. Yeah, thank you guys for being here. How's your day going so far?
Pretty good. I'm
Going
very
great.
excited.
Yeah.
Awesome,
stoked
man.
to be here, man.
Yeah, I started I really don't remember how it happened, but you guys, like, we ended up as Instagram friends.
Yes.
And I was watching some stuff that, like, looking at some of Lauren's stuff, and I'm like, I was writing something at the moment, and it was so funny because I looked at my wife and I was like, dude, this is like, this girl fits like this part, but I don't know how she talks. So I was like, would it be weird just to message her? And she's like, no, that's what you do with everybody. I'm like, yeah, but sometimes it does feel weird. I didn't even know if she was like hardcore into acting either, but it seems like something she's approaching. So but just to step back for a second, where are you guys from, man? How'd you come together, and what kind of stuff are you into?
Want to go first? Me?
Yeah.
All right. So I am a born Jersey girl. I grew up in Jersey like my whole life. I do cosplay on the side. I make my own cosplays. I've had multiple awards with my costumes. And I actually met him at a convention, and that's kind of how we met.
That's awesome. And you too, Marcus, you New Jerseyan?
Oh no. I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts. Well, South Shore, a town called Stoughton. And then in 2008 I moved to New York to work in film. Went to film school and just been there ever since, making films, working on stuff. Yeah, I've been like heavily into horror since I saw Army of Darkness in the theaters. Was like one of the 6 people that actually got to see it in theaters.
Very cool.
Yeah, and ever since then it like unlocked some crazy box in my head, and since then I've been obsessed with horror ever since.
Well, let me ask you, Marcus, were you into cosplay yourself, or were you just into cosplayers?
I mean, if by cosplaying you mean like Halloween costumes, yeah, okay, I've done that. Like in terms of like I've dressed up as Ash more times than anything else. But no, I mean, I'd say it's the latter.
Very nice. Well, I definitely had to ask my oldest son, man. It's like he's like, I gotta marry a cosplay girl. I'm like, son, that's like unrealistic. I get it, I do, but I don't think these girls are spending all this time putting these outfits together and going there shopping for Hub Bros. Maybe it is, maybe, I've
Listen,
drawn
it
one
worked out for
before.
me. It worked out for me.
No, that's good, and I'm glad that it did. But I mean, Marcus, you said you went to film school. Did you go to film school for what you're doing, or what is your specialty?
So I mainly write and direct and produce. That's my main thing. I've directed 2 features, working on my third, and I've shot over like 30 shorts, music videos, and everything in between. I've been a producer on several upcoming projects as well, that we'll get into. But yeah, I've just done a little bit of everything. And once I got here, I started working like as a production assistant. I've worked in every position known to man, except for wardrobe, because as you can see, my wardrobe is mainly horror, and that only fits a
Terrifier.
small niche.
I,
So
I
yeah.
like it, man, and I think that's around the time when, or maybe right before Terrifier 3 was wrapping. That's when I kind of got intertwined with her. We were following each other, had a few conversations. Um, Lauren, is there something in the works of you being in one of these films this guy's writing, directing, or what's going on? Oh, spot. I do that. I put people on the spot.
Well, I don't know. I mean, is there a possibility?
Of course there
Okay.
is.
All right. So there is a possibility for that. I have done some acting for Catamount. This was a whole Philadelphia thing. It went on for 3 months. So I do have some acting background. And I'm, constantly putting in new roles and trying to, just find new opportunities and stuff. And I actually recently I got offered a role as a character Marilyn in one of my friends. His name is Mac Bovin. It's a Aliens prequel, and I got offered the role as a character, and it was so much fun to record. So much
I
emotion,
actually
so much
watched it.
energy.
I watched it early this morning.
You did?
I
What do you
did.
think?
I I like the emotion in the voice acting. I was like, okay, all right, all right, all right. Yeah, she got some skills.
No,
That's what's
thank
up.
you.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that I think it's awesome. If anybody's trying to be a working actor, Marcus, you know
Yeah.
this. It's like it's good to know those things to where like, oh, I can do voice acting, I can do this, I can do that. So that's a great way to come in. And as far as going out there for those roles, so many people are going out for the roles, especially up north where you guys are, right? Like it's probably got to
Yeah.
be pretty fierce to even try and get seen or get picked out of. Jesus,
Mhm.
so many
Oh
people.
yeah. But there's also like a lot of horror that's been shooting out here too. I mean,
There is,
you
yeah.
know, earlier my cousin is a sound mixer, he sound mixed like every big film that's come out. He sound mixed The Fighter, he sound mixed Here Comes the Boom. And most recently when I met up with him, he had just wrapped on Smile 2, and I had just wrapped working on Terrifier 3. And we both realized that we have both of our films coming out. Well, both of those films, Terrifier 3. I'm not the writer director of that, obviously. But you know, both of the films are coming out almost the same weekend. And when Terrifier 2 came out, Smile 1 had just come out. So it's kind of kismet that like there's so much New York horror that's just filming all the
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
I love that, dude. I live it, I breathe it. I don't know what I'd do without it. So that's awesome to hear. I mean, I would anticipate that because down south, it's not like that. Like you hear about it here and there, but as far as features go, it seems like you're in the prime spot. And other than that, it's probably out somewhere in the west. What was your involvement with Terrifier 3? Did I hear you do the lighting or something like that?
No, so I was the script supervisor on Terrifier
Oh,
3. Yeah,
gotcha. Very
yeah.
important role, by the way. I don't think script supervisors get enough credit.
Oh no.
There was about 20 times that I said, "Where's my script?" There's like there's nobody standing there, and I'm like, "Ah, that's why you have script supervisors." And then I'm tracking it down myself or reprinting. And it's like, Jesus Christ, how we can somehow manage to film this whole production, but I can't keep my hands on a damn script. So very, very
Yeah, no,
weird.
and it's like, especially with a film like Terrifier 3, where, I mean, obviously it's a wicked, gory film with a
Blood.
lot of insanity. And like, it's just, it's like trying to keep track of like everything, like where was this, where was that, where was all this. But the cool thing is being able to have like a front row seat to seeing the whole thing made.
Mm.
I've known Damien and the whole team of Phil and Michael and Jay and Steve and all of them. I've known them for years, and being able to actually watch Damien work and the team work and just creating what is going to be one of the most balls to the wall, insane gore fests of 2024, I can guarantee. It's just like a beautiful honor, and like I'm just feel very like lucky that I was able to get to do that. But
Yeah, I
I
bet.
yeah, and all I can say is there's literally stuff in it that made me question every life choice I've made. Um, that I'm like, how the hell did I end up? What did I do to end up sitting here looking at the monitor watching this happen while this is? And I was like, I just, yeah, people are not ready for Terrifier 3.
Ooh, I'd love to hear that. I don't think we can hear that enough, but I got a big question. Lauren, did you get to get some sneak peeks in there? Did you get to walk on set a few times or sneak in the
I
back
have
door?
not. I have not. So I'm that kind of person that if there is a film being made that I'm not involved in, I want to wait
Mm.
to see it. I feel like if I see the behind the scenes, it'll kind of like mess up, like, I don't know, my perception of the film. So, like, for example, like Terrifier 2, right? If I did see that behind the scenes, I'd be like, okay, I know what they're doing. Okay, I know how they did that. If
I
I
know a
see it,
lot of
if
people that
I,
feel that way.
yeah, oh yeah, I'm a very like, okay, I want to see, I want to
Mm.
know nothing. I don't want to know the magic. That's all you. I want to just see the final product.
Well, let me ask you. Obviously, Mark's hardcore into horror here. Are you into horror as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is
Oh
it
yeah.
one of those things to where it's like, man, I'm most actors, like, they're willing to do whatever, they'll keep them working, but is it one of those things to where you're hoping that you're going to maybe go down, the lane of horror as far as acting goes?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I've been watching horror movies ever since I was a little girl.
Mhm.
I got bullied in school because of it, because I was like that weird one girl that like, reenacted Carrie and like, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, I love horror. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite genres, honestly.
Do you feel like the cosplay stuff is, been very beneficial to anything like you're reading or trying out for?
I I don't know. I mean, I've been doing cosplay since I think my first one was not horror. It was Princess Peach, and I was 12. And I've just been making costumes since. I taught myself how to hand sew, how to use a sewing machine, patterns, like, and with a lot of characters, there's many different outfits that are so unrealistically made
Mhm.
that like actually getting the fabric and materials and foam and LEDs, it can be really like taunting and daunting. Is that a
Yeah.
word? Daunting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, I love the way you did that there. I say taunting and haunting all the time,
Daunting and
so it
daunting.
reminded me of my
Yeah,
of my own swagger
right?
there.
But
Uh,
yeah, no, I mean with cosplay, with the competitions I've entered under, I've won about 4 first place awards, and that's best in show. Like Fan Expo PA, Atlantic City, super big conventions that I'm so honored to even have a thing on my wall for. Um, and there's things called masquerades. So what that could be is if I'm a character, whatever character it may be, TV show, game, horror, whatever, in character, you walk on stage and you do a skit. So most skits you actually have to write yourself.
mhm.
Um, and you go on stage, you have a microphone sometimes you have music. And that's kind of when I realized I wanted to pursue acting, was because first off, I love being able to show off my work in public,
Yeah,
because I put hours into it. But then when I'm on stage acting, I was like, what if I actually like get into acting?
right.
Um, and multiple people have told me that I should go down, this road. And then I met you, and you definitely helped me, with a
That's
lot of stuff. So
That's a great duo there. No, I was gonna say, like, I'm sitting here listening, and I'm like, dude, you guys are in like an ideal situation. Like, it just so happens that I have some very handsome, talented sons, and it was like, I'm a writer, I'm a director, I've written scripts for
yeah,
people. It's time to start making your own movies.
yeah,
You're gonna put your family forward because it's like they're there. We can always trust for the most part.
Yeah.
Don't speak too soon now. Hold on. Okay, I can trust my family. I know a lot of people that can't trust their family. Uncle Dave, you're not welcome to the cookout. But it's awesome when even my woman, she just graduated from law school more recently, and it's like, how
yeah.
lucky could I be to end
Congrats.
up in a
Congratulations.
filmmaker position to where it's like she can handle paperwork and legalities, the
Right.
kids are acting. So you guys like that reminds me of that. There's I mean, have you written something, Mark, that seems like it's sitting in the pipeline? Not necessarily it's involving her yet, but is there something that you're trying to do on your own soon? I know you said you have, but is there something coming up that is going to involve you stepping away from script supervising, doing anything else for anybody, and just like, hey, it's time to raise another baby myself?
So yes, 100%. I last year when we had kind of just first met a little bit, I shot a short film called "I Want Your Skin,"
Oh, it's
um,
so good.
and it's about a skinless creature that chases a girl through Chinatown, telling her he wants her skin.
Mm, I
And
like
it's
it.
part of a horror anthology that we're doing called Errors of Terror. So this one obviously budget constraints and stuff. So it was the modern day one that we used to kick it off. And we got we got amazing actors. We got Damien Maffei, who's best known for like Strangers Pray at Night, Haunt, Wrong Turn. And we got Allison Patel, who's also in Stream. Did a film a while back that I wrote and directed called that was a sizzle for Night of the Living Dead 2, where we reunited the cast of George A. Romero's Day of the Dead. And we also got a cameo from Michael Gingold,
Oh
who's the
wow. Well,
yeah
look
from
at
the
you little dirty effer. So I want your skin.
Yeah.
I love the title. I mean, that kind of jumps at you. If I was walking down the aisle of like if there still were VHS store, let's say Walmart, and I seen something that I want your skin, I'm like, I want to see that. So do you think that short that has the potential to be a feature length, an hour 20
Oh,
minutes?
1,000%, 1,000%. It's definitely one of those, it's more of like the short is kind of just a taste of what the creature can do,
Mhm.
and really showcases like different things that you're kind of like, well, wait, how is it able to do this? How is it able to do that? And through that, it plays a lot with like doppelgangers and like mimicking people's voices and imitating them, and a lot of different stuff like that can play towards a feature, which a script I have in my mind and stuff that would be like a cross between like John Carpenter's. It would play a lot into like John Carpenter's The Thing, where it's like you
Okay.
don't know who this creature could be because it could take someone's skin and use it on themselves.
I was on set for that.
Yeah. She was the script supervisor on that.
Yes.
Oh, so you're
I
script supervising it. Jesus, man, you guys need to get off your tails and do something over here. No, I'm just kidding.
I saw them like working, and just like the makeup and just like it was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it has to get out.
Yeah.
100%. I'm so excited for that too.
Yeah. No, yeah.
there's something about even like no matter what caliber of part you're playing in making a film, there's something about observing that's just so powerful. I remember like early on, like if I didn't get picked for something, I would say, do you mind if I observe? And there were usually the answer was no, but then there were people that were like, yeah, if you just keep your mouth shut, yeah, you can stand back there. And I would do it and I would watch, and I learned so much from that, man. And the biggest thing that I learned from it was it is hard, but it's not as hard as it looks. I think a lot of people coming into the film game, it just sounds impossible when you first start thinking about doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as you, Lauren, like trying to land some acting roles, like, are you finding that challenging? Like enough things popping up that would fit what you
It's
could do, you think?
No, I mean, I set in my mind that this is what I want to do, and this is the road that I think that my life is going down, and I am all for it. I'm so excited. So any role that comes my way, or any role that I find that I could possibly fit or whatever, I will 100% apply for it.
Yeah, build up some
Absolutely.
resume material
Yeah,
first. Yeah. That makes sense. That
absolutely.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about you, Mark? Like, is there anything like you find challenging about what you do, or have you been doing it for a while to where you're like you said you got quite a bit of connections there, you're in a pocket full of people, so like is it pretty easy to keep steady work beyond your own projects?
So, in all honesty, I mean, it's never, this industry, from what I find, is it never becomes easy. There's always, every film is kind of like its own individual child. You know what I mean? Like like growing up, every human has their own, things that go right, the things that go wrong, and all this stuff. And one of the things I found is that every film is its own beast, short, feature, whether you're producing, whether you're directing, whether you're writing. And it's one of those things that it's like once you start creating it,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what, you have to just keep, like, you just can't stop trying because, you know, like some projects take 20 years to even get off the ground. I mean, Francis Ford Coppola has a movie that he's releasing right now that he funded himself, that he was talking about doing back when had just shot Apocalypse Now, and nobody would pick it up. And that's like 40 years ago, I think,
Yeah.
if my math is right. But like, it's insane to think that it took someone like Francis Ford Coppola, who's, I mean, come on, like his filmography is legendary, couldn't get a film off the ground till now with like that. And it's one of those things where it's like, we're all trying to get all these different films off the ground. We're very fortunate enough to get currently we have a film coming out that we all did together called Stream, that's coming out. It's being released theatrically August 21st. I mean, that was shot actually during COVID, January 2021,
That is
where
mind-blowing. I was talking to Michael about that, and I was shocked that he had that sitting on the shelf since like 2016, he said.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, that goes to show what you're saying right there. I mean, that's true, you know. I mean, that's not that long, but still, it's like, okay, this was in 2016. Some people are afraid that when you write something in 2016 and try and do it now, it's like, now is it aged? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Unless you're like in, you know, actually trying to write something to make it look like it's done in the 80s, then you've concealed that like time frame right there. But it's like Stream feels very futuristic.
It is. I mean, it has a great, great, great feel to it. You know, Stream was like honestly is probably one of my favorite films that I've ever been able to work on. You know, just the team behind it. You know, gathering everybody. I mean, they were fresh off of Terrifier 2, which I was like in for like a couple of days. I'm in one of the scenes in that, but then it was like the Stream was like the melting pot of like bringing of Michael and Fuzz on the lens of bringing everybody on from Terrifier 2 and bringing in the people that like they had met from other projects like myself. And they were like, okay, we're going to make this insane movie. We're going to be in Gettysburg for 6 weeks,
Wow.
basically quarantined in there. And every other day is going to be a horror legend that shows up. Like one morning you wake up and, oh yeah, Jeffrey Combs is here and Daniel Harris is here
I
and
seen Tony Todd.
Tony Todd's in the film as
Jeez,
well.
bro. That's
Oh
that's
yeah.
incredible.
Tony's the sweetheart of a man. And it was just such a melting pot of creativity. And I got to finally meet Damien, and we really hit it off. And like, because we have a massive love for Charles Bronson and Jaws. And it was just Streams is one of those special movies that I think the final film is going to be great. I think people are going to love it. And I think the making of it is something special that all of us will cherish for forever, you
That
know?
is amazing, man. There's nothing better than finding a pocket of people that you can continue to work with. I see. I'm right now. Trying to do that with actors, where it's like each film, I keep a handful from each film, and I keep adding to that, and that's my main goal. Is in like 5 years 5 years from now, at least, that there's just like there's a bank of actors. Maybe we'll hire one new person here or there, maybe two. But for the most part, I want to bring people back just playing different roles and cherry pick the best talent out of those. But you're talking about doing it with production as well. Like you guys have
Yeah.
kind of stuck together. And on the production end, it's the hardest thing to cherry pick. You guys have got very lucky. You're all like, it seems like you're all Staten Island, New Jersey, Boston. Like you guys are kind of like in the perfect area to all link up for these things, it seems.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I definitely think it is worth mentioning. I think it was when we first started dating? I'm not sure. That he mentioned Stream to me. And then I met Michael and Jay and Steve and everybody who worked on the film. And I I kind of decided to mix two worlds together. And I was like, hey, mind you, there was no screen time of player 3 at all. I completely constructed the costume from Stream. The hair, the mask, I 3D printed it, added can't talk, LED lights, all from scratch. And I remember I showed up to a convention that Michael was at, and he was floored. He loved it. It's actually on my Instagram. He loved it.
Dude, that is awesome to hear. I was gonna say earlier when you were saying that, I was like,
Yeah.
so it seems like you've got some costume designer skills that see, it's really cool. That it goes back to that pocket there, you know. It's like, oh, I can do voice acting, I can do, I can't talk either. Costume design. It's really cool to have all those things in pocket. And I notice with a lot of filmmakers nowadays, like when I started in my 20s, when I started messing around with it,
Mhm.
I didn't, everybody you met wasn't a writer and a director and a filmer and this. Like now it seems like for the most part, we've learned, Marcus, that like we have to have all these different tricks in the bag in order to either stay working, or when you don't have the budget or can't count on people, it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm doing lighting too. I guess I'm doing that. And I think that's a really powerful thing, man. If anybody's trying to proceed with this, to have all those tricks that you guys obviously have. And I think you, young lady, have more than you probably realize at this point.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've, like she was like keeping it hidden from me that she was doing this cosplay. And
Uh,
and like I was a co-producer on stream, but I was also the production designer. So I held the actual masks, like the real ones that they spent a lot of money on, and like really like, did all the whole thing. So I know all the, the issues that we have with the masks, all that stuff. And she comes out with this LED mask. Now, mind you, I never gave her like the
There was
original
no
mask.
pattern. There was nothing.
She literally did it off of like a single photo.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this thing, and I remember Steve Della Sala saw it, and he goes, "Why didn't we just hire her to do this thing?"
I love
Because
it.
worked. It was amazing. Like it really glowed. Like she absolutely killed it.
Yeah.
And it's like she's able to take, like, I've seen her do that. I don't know. Do you play Smash Brothers at all?
Oh God. Yes. Yeah. Probably got one of the
So-
biggest retro game collections you'll ever see. And if we ever film
Really?
together in this neck of the woods, I think you guys might fall over, and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
more than welcome to.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Awesome.
So she did a whole one about that was Mithra.
Xenoblade.
Yeah.
Oh
that's
yeah.
all armor. It's all LEDs. The whole dress that was a headache by itself. But I do cosplay, but then I also like to kind of take a break from cosplay. Because cosplay is one of my loves. I've been doing it for so long. But then I've also grown a following on social media, and I do YouTube. And I did social media since I was 15. I was a baby. And I mentioned earlier that I was bullied in school. So I was then homeschooled. And being homeschooled, it's, very hard to kind of connect with people. It's kind of hard to keep friends, maintain friends, find friends, honestly. So I created a social media platform that basically kids and anybody really that needs somebody to reach out to about bullying or anxiety or whatever it may be, that is my page. And I talk about everything, body positivity, like anti-bullying, everything on the spectrum. So that is also something that I have grown over the years. So I'm very comfortable in front of a camera. I remember I was on set for I think it was, I forget the name of it, but it was something for Apple. Ridley Scott was the director. I remember I was on set, and I believe it was one of the ADs. He, he goes, "You are so calm in front of the camera." And I go, "Yeah, I do YouTube." He looked confused, but
It definitely helps.
it does. It really does. And I think, I'm a very outgoing person, so I'm not shy to be on camera. So I think that's a big help as well. Yeah.
I've heard more people just since I started doing the podcasting here, because this is like my smaller channel that, it's something I wanted to do for a while, but I was like, if I do it and really take it serious, it's got to have horror involved with it. It's got to have filmmaking involved, or it's like, But I noticed, like, sometimes I'll talk to these directors, and I won't name any names, but I'll just say that sometimes, like, they are so nervous before I hit record. It's very shocking. Yeah. Like, and I'm like, dude, like, you would think I would be that, like, nothing like knocks me off, no more. I've talked to everybody, and like, I don't ever like, oh my God, like, I've lost that. But it is funny, like, how they won't have a problem being in front of a camera for like a movie, but an interview is like, and yeah, I think that's important, man, to cater to those people out there that have trouble with anxiety, especially if you can use your platform to do it. I've done it over the years with my bigger platform, Hunting the Dead. Just, doing what you can when you can. But are you also showing people like how to make like these costumes and stuff?
So it's something that I've been thinking about for a very long time. Usually with cosplay, I just pick a character that either I'm very into at the moment or I've had like a love for, like Peach, for example. So I would consider maybe making like a Patreon or something that I could have like, here's how I did it, here's the patterns, here's the materials I used. So that is something definitely that I think could be a possibility for the future, 100%.
I know there's a lot of people out there that do it, but I think there's sometimes it's a big difference. Like I kind of stepped back from doing a lot of paranormal stuff on YouTube. That's what initially blew up my big channel. And a lot of people will tell me to this day, I miss you doing the paranormal stuff. I'm like, well, there's so much of it out there. Like, why do you need me to do it? It's saturated. Like, there's this overkill. And they're like, yeah, but I don't see people doing it like you did. Get
Mhm.
that. So it's like the same thing with like the cosplay, even filmmaking, man. It's like
Mhm.
your technique has something to offer that Dave and John and whoever else, doesn't. So I think this platform, even if you think like there might not be a market for it, I think it surprised you. But
Yeah.
Patreon's a good way to go. Like
Yeah.
it's like acting classes. It's like a shop class, and
Mhm.
I mean, you're doing it, and you bring something a little different to the table, right?
Mhm.
Than a lot of people that are trying to cosplay. You've actually won some
Right.
awards, so now you got that
Yes.
credibility. It's like the award-winning filmmaker, man. You put that little stamp on your short film, and it does something
Yeah.
different, right?
Oh yeah, no, like people look at things a little bit differently, and from what I've really noticed with like even just moving forward, you know what I mean? It's like once you get one person to believe in you, it becomes easier to get more people to believe in you. The
You always
first,
have to believe in yourself first.
yeah,
That's more important.
yeah,
Thanks.
and like the first like name actor that I worked with was who's now become a dear friend of mine is Terry Alexander from Romero's Day of the Dead,
Mhm.
and he took a chance on me. I was like some young no name filmmaker that had done like a couple little shorts, and he sent him a script and he loved it. He came out of retirement to do the film, and that film was called The Last Call, and it went to like tons of film festivals, and because of that it won awards for everything under the spectrum. And then from there we were able to like get other projects and get more things, and it was just because one person was like, you know what, I like this script, let me see what we can do here. And what I always say is you never know who is going to bring you into the next thing. Like I look at like how I even met Michael Levy and all the guys from Terrifier. It's all because I had worked randomly with this one person down the line in some random shoot, and then because of that they gave my name to someone else, and we ended up working on a film and met Michael and Steve, and then we became friends. And it's one of those things where it's like, I think this isn't, the best phrase is, the high tide raises all boats. And I
Mhm.
think when you work with a group of people and everyone's lifting each other up, I think we get better products done. We get more done,
I
and we
love that,
also,
man.
yeah, I mean, there's so much of it's just going to be me that gets out there, and you can't do that. You can't be successful without your team. Like there is.
And I
Mhm.
love what you guys have, man. And see, here's something like, here's how incredible what you're saying is. Okay. I knew that she was bringing her boyfriend on today. She mentioned some things that you were into.
Mhm.
Okay. What things that you've done, but I had no idea about your past, bro. I had no idea. Now here's the craziness in this. Okay. Is I talked to Phil and he tells me about this extraordinary team. I talked to Michael, he tells me about this extraordinary team. I
Mhm.
talked to you, you're telling me about this, and you guys are all saying some of the same things. In each one of those interviews, I have walked away. I think I even told my wife after I talked to Michael the other day, I said, it's crazy. I've never been able to find that in the film field. It's probably been because where I was. Like I started making films in Florida, and even though it's a good place to be, it's not the best place to be. It's like one of those things, man. You really get lucky if you meet 5 actors.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, it's so incredible that they've done that. That's something that I wish was more broad, but it seems like you guys are just in the right neck of the woods. You met at the right
Yeah.
time, knew the right people, and I love how you've all connected and you guys all say the same thing. So I'm like, dude, it's so real. It just makes it that much better.
Yeah.
They're a great, like, they're a whole amazing group. Seriously, they're so hardworking.
Yeah.
And
And
now I want to go down
it's
the rabbit hole of Marcus, of course, because now I'm like, okay, he's talking about this stuff. Like now I got to watch this and I got to watch that. Damn it, Marcus, what the hell? But so what do you see next for you as far as you go? Like not something you're helping somebody with or got a foot in. Like what's next? Are you gonna try and get I want to wear your skin off the ground?
So right now I'm finishing. Well, I want your skin right now. I'm just waiting for some notes just to kind of cut it down because I I don't like when things go too long or too short. I
Mm.
like them to be just right. That's why when people say, "Oh, how long is something going to be?" I just tell them I have no idea, because I don't. I think a film should be not what you wrote; it should be what you create after you shoot it. Because there's three films we all make. It's the one you
Hmm.
write, the one you shoot, and then the one you edit. Because
Facts.
that's where you really feel, with, oh, well, this that I thought was the best line I've ever written just does not work here. I literally have
Hmm.
one line I've written into every single thing I've ever wrote that has been cut every single time. And I don't know. I think it's a good line. I won't say it now, but because if it ever makes it in, I want to make sure that people are surprised by it. But I don't know. Everyone's like, that line makes no sense. It's gotta go. But yeah, so I'm working on finishing that up, working on trying to turn that into a feature.
You're gonna
I'm
be a guest at a con.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be we're gonna be at Days of the Dead Con this coming July. The first weekend of July, myself, Michael, and Phil,
Hmm.
as we're all gonna be guests there, promoting the theatrical trailer drop of Stream, which is
I've been
dropping. We're
seeing it.
premiering.
I've been hearing it, man. I'm so stoked that everything's come like right off the gate, right out the gate. Terrifier 3's wrapping up. Scream's got this powerful surge all of a sudden, and it's just like, man, all the stars are really aligned. For people in that circle. That's a beautiful thing, man. I hope to God that your film is like next up, because
Yeah.
dude, I
Yeah,
feel like a good title is so important. I remember the VHS store days, mom and pop days, going in and surfing like the aisles, and like I would rent a film based just on the title. It didn't always work, but like it goes to show you like you got a better chance of being seen, and that really grabs you. I want your skin.
yeah,
Fuck.
yeah. Yeah. I'm working really hard on getting that one out there. Because we have that. We got Terrifier 3 that drops in October. And then we also had just finished up Screamboat about the killer Mickey Mouse. Well, you can't say Mickey Mouse, but movie. That drops in January. So we want to drop, that.
There's a lot coming up.
There's a
There's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. And
Is there anything that you're producing that's getting ready to come out soon?
well, Stream. And then really and truly it's Skin. So that one's really the one that we're trying to get out there. We're trying to also get the sizzle released from the Island of the Dead thing that we did. So we're trying to figure ways to get that out there.
Very cool.
And then I'm directing a found footage movie in September called Sundown, which also was going to have Damien Maffei in it. Once
Nice.
again, using the same crop of actors and stuff like that. And then just writing a couple of things, seeing and it's trying to get some stuff greenlit so we can make something else out there. Really and
Yeah.
truly.
When it comes to indie films or studio films, almost everybody has, if you're doing horror, like almost everybody has the same answer to this one. I prefer indie, and like I know a lot of people say, well, until you have that studio budget, you prefer indie, but I like no, I still prefer indie because um I hate that feeling of watching something and it's just too real, like that video game that's just so beautiful now to where you feel like the sweat's going to come out of the screen and hit you in the face. um and the creative control thing, it's just like with music, it's like once you sign a record deal, you've lost creative control. Whenever you if somebody's going to give you $4 million, they're not going to stand back and let you do your thing. They're going to be over your shoulder most of the time,
Yep.
and you're hey, we can't do that. And then it's like that's a big deal. So when it's come to like funding, whether it's something you've written, directed, or found somebody out there, um is crowdfunding a huge thing in the indie world for you guys that are in that northern pocket up there? I'm just curious because crowdfunding seems to be a big thing.
So, okay, so yes and no. Stream had a huge crowdfunding campaign that went really good. We were able to raise $180,000.
Oh, good lord.
Oh yeah, but they also had private investors that came in to put in money, so it was a kind of a mixed thing. You know, The way I look at funding, which is I do think is the bane of all of our existences. It is the hardest thing. Even George A. Romero would say, I hate this part of filmmaking. He goes, I just want to make films. I don't want to barter with people so that I can get, this project done by having to do, Curious George Goes to School. Like I want to just make
Right.
my movies, So when it comes down to it, I always say whatever works best for you. Like if crowdfunding, if you have a good network of people that are willing to throw in money,
Mhm.
crowdfund away. If
Yeah.
you have people that want to just put in money, you know, go that route. Crowdfunding, I will say, it is a full-time job. It
Yeah.
is every day posting. People are going to start blocking you on Facebook because they're tired of you promoting your film.
Facts.
It's
Yeah.
just nonstop. But at the end of the day, it's prevalent in all areas. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know if that was kind of like a wishy-washy answer, but
No, it's not. It's one of those things to where I think any aspiring filmmaker watching this, or even a seasoned filmmaker, I think nobody ever figures out funding.
no.
I mean, like, dude, listen, not a lot of people are willing. Phil said it best when I interviewed him. He was like, when you invest, you need to think to yourself, I'm taking this money, I'm throwing it out the window. Maybe if there's a good citizen out there, they're going to track me down to give it back to me. Like, I was like, that's beautiful, Phil. You know, I love
love
that, and
Phil.
that's the dude. That guy is something else. He's amazing. Um,
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
yeah,
Bill's one of the most genuine, heartfelt guys out there. He's beyond hardworking,
Yeah.
and there's so many things that I think people don't even realize Phil really did with the Terrifier films. He didn't just fund them. I mean, he was
He's a
there.
huge part.
Yeah, he was there
Yeah.
in the basement with Damien, building the effects, doing
Yeah.
all this stuff, and
yeah,
getting to know him really close on streaming and Terrifier 3. She's gotten to know him really well. Like,
His humor is so genuine.
yeah, he's easily one of the best guys you could ever meet,
Yeah.
and also one of the best guys to have in your corner. So
yeah. I believe that 100%. Like, I kind of felt like that before I ever interviewed him, but then we interviewed for an hour, and whenever we stopped interviewing, we talked for an hour, and I was like, dude, you are badass,
Yeah.
bro. And like, honestly, we could have kept talking. I think I was the one that looked up, and I felt like, uh-oh, I don't want to eat up your time, bro. Like, but he just seemed like it wasn't, like, he was really, really cool. And it's hard when people get to a certain caliber in the game, Wall Street, producing big hit movies, dude, they are so inaccessible. But you've locked into a team, dude, that's just remains humble, and that's so rare. I think that's what's really
Yeah.
attractive. It's like if you go down the rabbit hole and it's like, wow, they're making great films, but like, dude, I'd love to, work with these people or follow them and support them. Like, I see why more
yeah.
people would probably be willing to crowdfund somebody that, you know what I mean, is good people.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's at the end of the day, we're all just horror fans, ourselves. I mean, she's a horror fan, I'm a horror
Yeah.
fan. I mean, we bonded over that. It's
And Jaws.
just, I mean, yeah.
Well, Lauren,
Yeah.
I have to know, you like Peach, so do
Thank
I. Um, have you ever thought about doing Zombie Peach?
No.
Oh,
It may be in the works.
Okay.
Maybe. Bowsette. It is
Oh,
a fan.
shit. Hold on a second. I'm trying to catch up here. Something just happened. I just lost everything that was in my head. Bowsette. Okay.
Bowsette, yeah. So I'll be doing probably like the dress, maybe the slip. I already made the crown. There's a few pieces that I have made.
Mhm.
That's gonna be such a difficult costume. Because I'm gonna try and have the tail articulated. So like when I move, it's gonna move. I'm gonna have the shell. Yeah.
Wow. Marcus, you got you a gym here, man.
oh, I know.
I'm
Trust
so
me.
happy for you, and I just met you. It's like, why am I just met him. I'm so proud. No. Well, and I want to say this because I already talked to you about this, but there was, so when I first seen Lauren, I had wrote this part and I was like, I don't know what her voice sounds like. Maybe she don't sound. I've got this thing where if I can't nail something spot on, I've got to try and get it close. You know what I'm talking about? Because in
Yeah.
filmmaking, you already said it a little bit ago. Something always changes from what you wrote. Like when you get to this, when you get to the place where you're actually filming and see how the actors now move around that spot, something always changes. You know how you were talking about
Yep.
that.
Oh yeah.
When you were saying that, I meant to say that then. I was like, dude, I love hearing somebody else say it because actors don't ever get it. I don't think like they hear you say it, but they don't understand. It's like, well, the way it looked up here, it now does not look like that. So it's like, oh shit, somebody get me a pen. Script supervisor Lauren, get your ass over here. You know, it's like, so,
But
but yeah, you guys sound like an awesome team, man. But no, I do. I got something that soon I do want to throw at Lauren, and man, I really hope maybe someday I get to do something with you too, dude. I think a lot of people they don't realize all the talents that everybody brings to the table. As I'm sitting here talking to you right now, man, one more time, what kind of stuff do you do? Have you done?
All right. So the
like
list.
everything.
Writing,
I
directing,
did.
we know that. Then so let's start
Yeah.
there.
So okay, so we'll go from the top.
All
So
right.
I've directed, I've written, I've produced shorts and features. Um I did art department for about 6 years, worked on like big films, union films, non-union films, production assistant. I've done script supervising, I've done locations. I will never do locations again. I hate that job. That's basically me knocking onto people's houses and saying, "Hey, do you mind if I bring 50 people into your place right now?" I promise that I will make sure all 50 of them don't destroy your brand new floors and all your walls, and we can offer you a copy of the film and maybe $50. How's that sound? Yeah, it's
Ooh.
thankless.
Ooh.
I've done special effects. I've done let's see, what else? What else have I done? Oh, I've done sound on
Mm.
many different things. I've done lighting, I've done grip, I've done everything.
That's amazing, man. And
Yeah.
I love it. And you almost have to. And Lauren, we've got voice acting, costume design, cosplay,
Yes.
Yeah.
actress.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome, man. You know, one thing that I've realized I started doing music before I ever started doing like films and writing and producing my own movies. I've been producing music since I was 9, and I never realized how beneficial that was going to be. Because when you find yourself in a pocket of making horror films, let me ask you a question, Marcus. How hard is it to find people to produce music and score a whole film?
It is. It's also expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Not
been
here.
very fortunate to have to work with some great composers. One of them is a guy I always work with, Christopher North. Um, but it's one of those things where it's like I kind of have this thing where it's like I like to latch onto people and keep them forever and bring them in. If you look at most of my films, I use a lot of the same cast, a lot of obviously crew.
It's a family.
It is. It's one giant family, but music, anything in post, that's everyone always is like, oh right, I need $50,000 to shoot my movie and $50,000, and they spend $50,000 on making their movie, and then post comes and they're like, all right, so we're just gonna bang this out, and you're like, yeah, okay, well, we need $50,000 to do all the posts.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
like to me because having a good color corrector can save your film. Having a good sound designer, that's worth its weight in gold. And having a great composer, like
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of the it's like you look at some of the greats and like they composed all their own stuff, and I think it's when you are able to do your own, or you're able to get someone that can help you with that or anything, I think it takes away so much. It makes things so much easier.
Yeah.
So
It
you
seems like
compose your own stuff for your films.
yeah. No, I do everything. Well, 2 features under my belt, and now this third one basically here's what it looks like when I walk on set is I scout the locations. I talk to the actors, I walk them through what they're gonna do. And I have this thing I like to do as a director. Tell me if you do this. I like to act out the scene, even if it's a girl part. No shame in my game. I'm not doing the sex scenes now. All right, let's hold the phone. But I will act out, you know, to a certain extent, and then I'll say, this is kind of what I'm looking for. But when you do it, you don't have to do it this exact way I'm doing it, but get that vibe. Give me that vibe. And I will walk that out, and then I will set the lighting. Then if I'm doing special effects makeup, which is something that I'm really freaking good at, you know, I'll do those parts. I'll retell everybody what we're gonna do. I'll wait for everything to be perfectly quiet, yell action, we'll shoot it. And it's a lot of work, but I've never been in that pocket to where I've met 5 guys that are just great at what they do, and we all vibe and have the time for each other. So I've had to do that. If it wasn't for that, dude, I'd still be talking about doing it.
That's some of my old films. I have a film. It's on YouTube. I did it when I was in film school, called Zombie Love Story. And
I just finished my zombie short film today, bro. That's crazy. I want to see this show. I literally, that's what I was doing before this.
Zombie love story. I have questions.
Listen,
tell me about this.
So basically, it was an assignment we had to do for class. We were not allowed to. We were shooting on film for the first 3 films, and we had a light to keep. It was like black and white reversal on 16mm cameras, and we shot all that. And then they go, "Oh, here you go." And this shows how old I am. Here's a DVX camera. Have fun. So it's a digital camera, but that shoots on tape. So it wasn't film. But here's the thing. They didn't tell us that we had to light for that, because we'd only been lighting to light because it was black and white. So we had to light, overlight the thing, because otherwise you wouldn't see anything. So we did that with Zombie Love Story. So that's why it looks like it does. But I did the special effects. I directed. I acted. I shot most of it. I did most of the reshoots. Because there was no sound, we didn't have to do sound. I did bullet time in it, where I attached a bullet to the camera, and then charged at people with it. So there was it only worked once. So I used it, and it goes flying at the door. Yeah, I mean, but it was one of those things where it was I had to do everything. You know what I mean? I had a couple people that came in and out, but when I shoot, I just keep shooting and shooting and shooting, and I go, but yeah, it's once you know how to do everything, then you also know how to run your shoot the best, because now you know if the person you hired is doing a good job, or if they're slacking. You know what I mean? It's 100%. I know for a fact, if you're going to do special effects, you can't be all right, we're going to do this whole head explosion at the end of the day, and we're going to shoot 4 scenes before that. You can't do that. You have to be this is our day, because special effects take all day, and once you start learning that, I think it's also good as an actress, is learning all that stuff too. It's you are someone that also knows how to do all the the wardrobe and really create with all that, but you also know how to accentuate it for a character too, which I think really helps.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that comes to my mind, speaking of that, is I made a Tim Burton's Corpse Bride costume. So the whole dress was a bodice, and I had to beat it and paint it, and I added a real, a skeleton rib cage, and the whole bottom of the dress was hand painted, and it was made out of a bed sheet. But with that, I won with that, and I just remember with Emily as the character's name, it's such a fictional character. Obviously she's dead. I painted my entire body blue, and then I had to set it, and then I had to do the side of my face. Her teeth are showing. I made my teeth actually come out, they were looking like they were falling out of my cheek, and the makeup, and just the contour. So I obviously it's different for filming sets, but even for a cosplay aspect, it takes a very long time. Any form of makeup and art and art design takes a lot of time.
No, absolutely. I mean, it goes back to that observing thing. That's so awesome, though, that you guys, you've learned this too, and basically nothing's going to stop you at this point. And if you want to make films, you're going to make films, and And it is crazy when you were talking about like the DV tapes and stuff, dude, and where the times have come. Hey,
Yeah.
listen, I
Listen,
will
I
say
know
this.
nothing. I
I
know
love the
nothing.
way things look on film. I would never want to touch film. When I seen they were using Panavision on Terrifier 3, I said, "Oh shit." Now
Oh God, yeah.
you're getting a beautiful look. I mean, the tones that you can get, oh my God, it's gorgeous. Even with the DV, man, it gave it a really cool film look without
Yeah.
color correction to where you're like, oh man, this feels 80ish, and it's not even an 80ish type film. And like
Yep.
it does have something there to be said for it, but it was just a pain in the ass to transfer.
Oh my God, don't get me. So for my thesis film, we did we upgraded to the HVX 200, and they
Mm.
had for you to give a depth of field, they put these adapters on that you had to put in, and then you put the lens in front of it so that it would actually give it like depth of field, so like
Okay.
things would be shadowy in the background, it would look
Oh,
more cinematic.
Yeah.
that's cool.
And well, yes, and it's like all these new lenses and everything, they all do that automatically. That's what they are.
Yeah.
We shot day one. It was a 26-hour day of this film called Nam. And literally the DP forgot to turn the damn thing on. So you just see the lens in every shot, like the reflection of it. And it was we were just handed the thing. Of course we couldn't reshoot it because we were shot at this abandoned location and all this stuff, and it was insane. There was a lot of things I learned on that shoot, but it was just like then you saved it onto these giant cards that were like this big, these P2 cards. And these things were an absolute nightmare because you had to buy a special adapter. The
Mhm.
special adapter had to be then plugged in, and that thing barely ever worked. And you had to like put it down gently because if it even moved an inch, it would disconnect and it would delete everything. Oh, it was a
Absolute
nightmare.
nightmare. Now you stick an
It,
SD card or one of your high def cards into the camera. You
yep.
drag, you drop. It's so simple now that and
It's yeah. It's just
not
like
only is it simple, but it's very inexpensive now. That's why, like, I do know people that want to get into filmmaking. That has never been a problem. The problem is meeting people that are, and not to put myself high, not to play that game, but you yourself, if you're gonna make a film with people, and this guy's looking to get into it, he's not a prime candidate to work with. Maybe there's a part for him, but
yeah.
like lighting, man. I mean, it takes a long time. Filming, framing, all this stuff. I meet a lot of those people, and they usually they just give up after a while. It seems like it's so inaccessible, but the truth is, bro,
Yeah.
this thing right here, 4K, 24 frames per second. There's many different options for filming, and I mean, it's less than $2,000, and that's just mind blowing how the game has changed now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, technology is.
There's no excuse no more.
Technology is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I agree.
and it's and people always ask, like, oh, do you have a particular camera or anything like that?
I get asked that too.
Yeah, and it's like it's not about the camera.
No.
It's about the person shooting it. You know what I mean? Like I mean, even today, like like you knew.
Oh, I knew the lighting. I knew the angle. I knew.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
That's cool. I love that too when the actors like have a good idea, man. And you always hear film people say that like oh, she knew exactly where the camera was, and she was so delightful to work for. She knew the lighting would hit her face at this angle, and it's
You
just
went
like
British. You went a little
I'm
British
something.
there.
I have a Tropicana twister in me.
Listen, you went a little British there. I heard it.
I'm something, girl. But it is really a cool thing when actors pick that up and they make your job easier. And that's why I was saying like the I'm trying to find that pocket of people, and it's 2 films in a row has been successful. But one thing I did was in the 20s, I started out making short films, and I went away for a long time from them. So this short film I said I would never do short films again, only features from here out. I produce all my own stuff, all in-house, through my company, Dean's Haunted Mansion LLC. And I said, like I'm only features. Well, I finished the second feature. 2 days went by and I was hungry. I was like, oh my God, I know we just wrapped, but dude, I'm hungry to do something. So I wrote this short and we just shot it in like 4 days, and it looks freaking incredible, dude. And
yeah.
it's funny I think we make things a lot harder than they need to be, even with features. Like, I think people have this idea that you can only make features if you have a lot of money. I'm doing $10,000 a picture. And if
Oh
you see
wow.
what I do on 10,000 a picture, I think, well, also remember, I don't got to hire a special effects guy. I'm going to make the music myself gladly. Like, I do all
Yeah.
these things. Like, that means a difference too. But at 10K a picture, like what I'm doing is like pretty freaking mind blowing. And then I do the graphics on top of it and package it up. So
Oh,
this,
sick.
Yeah.
one-stop shop doesn't work for everybody, but I remember in my 20s just trying to learn all those jobs, and I think that's what was discouraging, and that's why I had to go away from stop making them and just practice on framing, learning the ambiences, and now it's very simple to where, I think what's made it simple is the outlets that will allow independent films in now. And now even the movie theaters, Michael was saying, are starting to be a little more generous, saying, hey, we'll give you a limited run.
Yeah. No, they definitely are. I mean, look, everyone's heard it, everyone's said it. Terrifier 2 changed the game. It really opened up doors for everybody, for all of us. I mean, the amount of connections that I've been able to, obtain, and like the ability to shoot certain things and just all that. I mean, Terrifier 2 just changed the game. And now Terrifier 3 is really doing, I mean, it's gonna be a wide release that is probably I think it's gonna make stupid money. I think people are gonna go nuts for it. I think the critics are gonna go insane for it. I think it's gonna be next level. But that opened the door for Stream to get a theatrical release. Screenboat, that's getting put into thousands of theaters, and it's these indie films that were unrated that, like, as horror fans, we all know, like, films that were unrated could not get theatrical releases if it's not rated R.
It's
You
you have to wait to see it on like streaming or YouTube
or just in the video centers, like
video center.
yes, back in the day.
That's one thing I will say is hearing Michael talk about it the other day, especially was, the fact that they are more lenient towards it now. And I had said this all along, dude. I will never make something that will be able to get rated. But then I seen Terrifier 2 and I'm like, wait, this is in a theater. Now they're actually letting people in the door that have unrated films. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, maybe we should do a little bit more than 10 G's a picture, because if you have the right In a Violent Nature, did you see it yet?
Not yet. I want to go see that one.
Okay.
I've heard it's.
I've seen the trailers for it.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
Very good film. Very good film. But I think and I don't know what his budget was, so maybe it was very low. But like I know I seen it and I was like, I feel like this could be made on 10 grand very easily. But then again, it would depend how good you are with special effects, because he did nail that part. But it's very simplistic. I've never seen a horror film so simplistic in my life, but it just works.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of cuts. Like like you can probably count how many cuts there are, and very, very simply, I was shocked. There's a lot of long drawn out shots. And I found myself there wondering if I liked it. I've never done that before. And I don't badmouth films either. Even if it's not my cup of tea, like I'll never badmouth them.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, I was like, he did something special. What was it? It's different. It's so hard to find in the horror genre right now. Is a lot of things do feel the same. So
yeah, I think that's another reason why I think Terrifier kind of blew up. I think that's the reason that Art the Clown, the whole character, blew up, because we've had a million clowns, right? But we've never had a clown that is, first of all, so sadistic, but two, a clown that doesn't talk. We don't know the backstory. I don't know.
I can't say anything. I have a red dot in my head.
There's definitely that. I think the silhouette, but
I mean, yeah, it's a very like, I think mystery captivates a lot of people. And I remember even going to conventions and like seeing people dressed up as Art, and like as a cosplayer perspective, it's very interesting. It's very like, I don't know, oh my gosh, that's so cool that they act it out. Like people will come up to, oh my god, can I get a picture with you? You look just like, like they don't talk, they do the horn. Like I think that's what makes the character fun. And like you're saying, simplistic goes a very long way.
and
It really
Damien's
does.
unique approach with the special effects, because it's
Mhm.
not just it's. I mean, we've all seen a neck slit 100,000 times in a horror
Yeah.
film. We know we're gonna
Yeah.
keep seeing it, but there is once in a while somebody will do it in such a way where you're like, wow, they really did that
Yeah.
different.
If I
And
squirm, that's how I know it's good. Like
true,
I've seen a few shots with Terrifier that like I like get well I don't get grossed out by body gore. I'm a horror fan, so
Mhm.
please, the more blood the better. Um but there's a few, I guess it's the angles possibly, maybe how close it is and how good
Yeah.
like the FX makeup is. Then you're like, okay, that looks weird.
It
Okay, that
has
looks
that
okay,
skydiving
yeah.
effect, you know, like when
Yeah.
you I've never been skydiving, but just thinking about skydiving makes my heart race.
Yeah.
I would say that it's pretty much kind of like one of those things to where it's like horror does that to me, even though I know how they do it. Like I'll watch it and I'm like, okay, there's about to be a cut right here. 1, 2, bam, cut.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I timed the dude. I've gotten to the point where it's like I everybody around me is like, damn, you know, and I'm
Yeah.
not. I can't let it go either. It's one of those things where I care about the science of how it
Yeah.
happens. But
Oh yeah.
he
And I love
he
how
does a
like
good job.
something can look realistic. Like
Mhm.
if it looks as horrific and painful and gory and gross on camera and it looks real, that's where it sometimes gets me.
Yeah.
I've never thrown up over a film. But
Have I?
yeah, have you? Have you, Jody?
I've never thrown up over a film,
Yeah, no.
but
Have you?
I've
You're
gotten.
thinking.
I'm thinking. I know I got nauseous from Dead Alive.
I never watched that.
You've never seen Dead Alive?
Uh-uh.
Oh, okay. We're watching that, and we're gonna eat porridge too while we watch it.
ooh, with
Uh,
red food coloring in it.
yeah. Oh,
Oh, why? Wait, why? Why?
Well, it's just the whole blood effect, but
Oh,
yeah.
I was
Don't
gonna
worry.
say,
There's a scene in that movie. I remember the first time I saw Dead Alive, and I'm watching this. This is before Lord of the Rings came out, because this guy went from like doing these
hard horror to then
yeah, Peter Jackson,
Yeah.
incredible filmmaker. He does this film, and it is to this day I still think it is the goriest movie I've ever seen in my life, like
I'm scared.
hands down. Like, you like Dead Snow too, and it's on that level of like insanity of
I
gore.
like it. I
Is
like
it
it a lot.
ridiculous gore though?
It is, but
Okay.
oh my god, that film! I mean, and you know the scene I'm talking about.
I do, but now I got to ask you, man. After hearing you talk for a while, I'm eager to know what is your favorite horror film or horror franchise. And if
Evil
you say
Dead.
Wrong Turn, we're gonna be good friends.
Oh, I loved Wrong Turn. But Evil Dead, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used to hate horror films. I was terrified of them. But I was always drawn to the horror aisle to look at the box art and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I could never watch them. And then I saw something drew me to Army of Darkness. Saw it in the theater,
Yeah.
and
First. Yeah.
and I was obsessed with it. I was like,
That was a good movie.
I literally even had written in my mind as a young youth a sequel to Army of Darkness. And then
Wow.
back in the day before internet, we had this thing. It was called like there were these books that were just like encyclopedias, but they would be like, you'd flip through and you could see like a review of a movie or stuff like that. So I said, whatever, I'll look up Evil Dead. Army of Darkness, and it said in there, prequel Evil Dead,
Yeah.
prequel Evil Dead 2, and I was like, oh my god, there's 2 other films. It probably doesn't even have Bruce Campbell, because at that point I had already fallen in love with Bruce Campbell because of Briscoe County Jr. And I went and I saw the covers for Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
And Evil Dead and I looked, I'm like, I've always been drawn to these covers, like subliminally. I don't know why. Evil Dead could not get. Just, it was out. So I got Evil Dead 2, fell in love with it, got
Mhm.
kicked out of Hebrew school because I sat there and drew veins on my hand and attacked myself, and they thought I was and they were like, all right, get out of here. My father was really pissed off. And then I saw The Evil Dead, and that film fucked me up.
Are we talking about the basement scene?
No, I'm talking about
The basement scene messed me up. It was weird.
the
I didn't like
basement
it.
scene,
And maybe like,
the beginning where they chop up Shelly.
yes.
That I had to stop.
Yeah.
My father
Yeah,
came
no,
in
same.
and saw me. We had a collie and a Sheltie, 2 dogs. I had them in headlocks, and I'm rocking back and forth. I am so traumatized from this movie. And my father was like, what in the world like he's yelling at my mom. He's like, "What in the world are you letting him watch?" And she's like, "It's the Evil Dead movie he wanted to watch." I don't know. And I finally watched it, and I just fell in love with horror. And since then, that franchise changed
Yeah.
my life and set me down this insanity path. But what about you? What was it for you?
I
Oh,
love that, man. I love
I have
that.
no idea. I mean, I don't know what you would consider like the first horror movie, but I remember I was very young. Coraline just came out, and I know Coraline is like hit or miss. Oh, is it horror? Is it? I don't know. It's
Mhm.
all it's in that genre. Okay,
But
not
it did it for you.
not as much as the basement cutting up somebody, but um. But no, I remember Coraline. It came out. One of my friends was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go see it," and I'm like, "Okay, mom, can I? Mom, can I go?" She's like, "No, no, 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 no. You're not seeing it. You're too young. No." And sure enough, I remember I begged my mom enough to the point where she was like, "Okay, watch it. If you have nightmares, it's on you. Whatever." I drew her to her end. I swear. And I watched it and I loved it. I mean,
Wow.
I rewatched that movie as a kid too many times, and it is a dark film.
Mhm.
It's dark.
Yeah.
Um, I had to be what, maybe 11 or 12 when it came out, and I was obsessed with the movie. Obsessed. I would like try to go outside and like recreate the scenes with the dowsing rod and the sticks and yeah, so probably Coraline was my first horror. But then after
That's
that
awesome.
it was like Carrie, Chucky, Myers, Evil Dead, like everything. That's usually all I watched up until now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love that, and that film definitely does have a dark tint
It
to it, and I
it
really
needs a
appreciate it.
live action. It needs a live action.
I agree.
Please, somebody watching this, please make a Coraline film that is vulgar and disgusting with the buttons in the eyes, please. Please.
And
It's
the
such a
Army
good
of Darkness,
concept.
both those, man, are great selections. But I've also heard other filmmakers, man, that just did it for me. That did it for me.
Mm,
That's one of those ones that I don't. I wonder if they realize how many people it inspired for sure.
yeah.
I know they do.
Yeah.
Like the numbers don't lie, but like there's always a difference between when we're talking money and we're talking true inspiration and compassion and passion. And like that's one of those films, dude, that like has built careers. And I don't think
Yeah.
that was ever. I don't think it's any of our ever. I don't think we ever think that far ahead. You know.
You know what it is also? It's like the reason I say, to me, Evil Dead 2 is a perfect movie. There's not a single slither of a frame of that movie you can remove to make it better. And
Hmm.
you don't need to add a single thing to it. And like Evil Dead has so many, issues, the acting, all this stuff, like you can see the tubes popping out of their necks. Like it's the four, I will not watch. I have the 4K watch once. I will not watch it. It's too, I see too much. I go back
Yeah.
and I watch the old VHS copy that I have,
Oh,
and
ooh.
oh yeah, I
It's
have
just
that
it's
one.
sitting right by the desk, man. I
Yeah,
mean, like,
I mean
yeah.
you gotta, you know, but like the thing about Evil Dead is it's one of the most inspirational films for an indie filmmaker to hear is that someone like that, it took him 4 years
To
where they had to
complete.
keep coming back
Yeah.
because they ran out of money and then they had to stop and then they lost all the actors. So Sam's like, put his younger brother in like the women's clothing and made him be like, Shelly on the ground spewing up milk and all this stuff. And you're like, holy shit, the if you don't give up, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You will have something, and it doesn't matter if a million people see it or if six people see it. As
Yeah.
long as you make the idea that you want to make and you get it out there and people, and even if one person enjoys it, that's all that
Mhm.
matters. And at the end of the day, it's all, like to me, Evil Dead is a masterpiece. I've some people that watch the original Evil Dead go, dude, it's unwatchable. What are you talking about? It's so cheesy. And I'm like, yeah, but you're
Yeah,
not
that's mind
seeing.
blowing to me too. I don't get that. I have heard people say that before, and that always is like, really? Like, I don't know if people see
Mhm.
films the same way that filmmakers do, though.
Yeah,
Mm. That's
You know?
interesting take. It's very interesting.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love like the makings of like to me, like the only thing better than the original Jaws is the making of Jaws. And if you've ever,
Wow.
I watched the
Okay.
behind the scenes of that.
yeah,
Oh
the
yeah.
the shark is
Yes.
I think it's
Got
the
that sitting right there too.
oh, dude, it is the best. It's
Yeah.
literally the best. And like,
Yeah.
hearing that, and you're like, okay, like we can only dream we will ever have a film that we are able to create that is on the level someday that is even comparable to Jaws. That is
Yeah.
impossible. It
Yeah.
is one of the greatest films ever made. This will be a 5-hour conversation if I go into Jaws. Same thing with her because we're huge Jaws.
Yeah,
I have
it's
a joke,
yeah.
but
You have a Jaws bathroom.
yeah, I do. I have a yeah,
That
literally.
is so awesome.
But like it's like to hear that every single day, like they go to shoot and the shark's not working, and then
Right.
the crew would just go to down into the bars and get drunk and trash things. And you have Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss just butting heads every day, and like just like Spielberg being like, my career is over, and it's the one film that to this day people still go up to. I mean, that guy has made the greatest movies. He's
Mhm.
to me the greatest filmmaker we have that is alive currently. And you now people give Spielberg shit. And I'm like, okay, you go out and you make Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Saving Private Ryan. You make all these films and then come, I don't know. I'm a
Yeah.
big defender of Spielberg. I love him.
Well, dude, people are so brutal since this social media thing has become
Oh yeah.
the most accessible way to the bullying has got worse, the haterism's got worse, the critics.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I rarely see a film anymore that I feel somebody doesn't have something bad to say. I remember,
Right.
and it's rare that I see anything but horror. Like my whole life is horror. Like it's so hard for my wife to get me to sit down and watch something else, but I do it for her once in a while. We watched a few comedies this last week. It had been 6 months, so it was like I owed her one. Uh, but I remember I stepped out to see Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins because I'm a huge G.I. Joe fan.
Okay.
And I thought it was really good. And then come Monday, the amount of people across the internet were ripping this film apart. I was just
Yeah.
like, do we ever watch the same films anymore? Or is it just so easy to, scan through and say, don't like that, don't like that. Okay. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
No, it's
feels
true.
like criticism has become more just a straight haterism because it's clickbait. You know what I mean? It's like people want drama.
Yeah.
Well, they've most recently they did it with The Boys. See, I'm a big The
Mhm.
Boys fan. In the new season, I'll admit the first 2 episodes are a little
Mm-hmm.
but then people are like, this is it. The Boys it's garbage. The entire season's trash. Only 2 episodes have been out. Episode 3 had some amazing moments. Episode 4, great. And now episode 5, there's stuff that happens in those episodes. And I'm like, okay, like people saying that this is just trash
Mm-hmm.
aren't watching the show. It's still brilliant. It's still amazing. And I think
Yeah.
people want to just watch something crash and burn. And I think that's the problem is that we're not trying to like everyone wants to see like the Marvel movies do bad because now they're like, haha, I was finally right.
Right.
26 films later, we're finally right. It's like just
It's become
enjoy it.
so
Have fun.
important to people for sure. It's
Yeah.
too important. It shouldn't be. Like I will never understand it because they don't ever get it right. That's the thing. Like I'll see a bunch of again, was I jumping up and down about an Violent Nature? No, but I walked out of there saying that was a good film.
Right.
I love that he did something unique. Come Monday, people were tearing it apart. I'm like, you're the same people that were just building it up, and all you seen was a poster. Like,
yeah.
That's mind blowing to me. But I get it
Yeah.
though, because of being a YouTuber. Like we see it. I never knew how much hate existed until I became a YouTuber.
Oh yeah. No. I mean, it's almost every day that I get a group of hate comments. It's every day. But like, it's what kills you makes you stronger. And the more people attack you for the most stupidest stuff and whatever people say, it's like you have to laugh at it. It's a genuine
Right.
Because this goes for anything that anybody wants to pursue, like acting, directing, filmmaking, whatever, YouTube, or whatever it is that you want to do that you are drawn to. Nobody can make you change your mind. Nobody can do absolutely anything to trigger your past or make you be like, no, you're right. Yeah, I'm gonna go. No, like if you want to do something, do it.
Yeah.
YOLO.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, a lot of these people wouldn't say any of this to your face. They'll say this in a blog or they'll say this across the internet, but it's a big difference.
No. Oh yeah, no.
Being a man, being a woman.
I'm verified on Instagram, and the only reason why that is because I've had so many people use my photos for catfish, for impersonation, for, I've been taken down a few times because Instagram, this was back in 2018. Instagram wasn't, I guess, as human, because now you can actually talk to somebody if you call up Instagram.
Facts.
Somebody with more followers than I had at the time. I don't care about followers. Like, please, I don't care. Somebody had more followers. I got taken down because I had less followers.
And they were
So my
impersonating you.
Oh
So
yeah, so my account went
wow.
bye-bye. I had to restart all over. And because I had, YouTube and Snapchat and Twitter and, I have a fan base which I love so much. They all found me again. So I think that there are pros and cons to social media
Yeah.
for different, you know, fields as well. Movies, whatever, YouTube, gaming, whatever. You have your fans, people that love you, people that support you, people that will always be there for you no matter what. And then you have people that are having a crappy day and go online and
Yeah.
and feel better about themselves for like 12 seconds, but you can't let them get to you at all.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found the most success in my life actually whenever I had the most haters in my life. And that was a sad moment
Yeah.
for me, like feeling sad for them because I was just like
Yeah.
it's weird the things that like even the critics, like going back to that. Do you guys remember
Mhm.
like when we used to go to like the video stores when they were open,
Video
broadly?
stores?
Yes, dude, I miss it. I
Yes,
think about it every day of my life.
I miss them. I miss
I
them.
never
God, me
been.
too.
Wait, what?
Video stores?
You never went
Blockbuster,
to like a
Hollywood
Blockbuster?
Video.
I went to Best Buy.
Wait, okay, we're gonna have another conversation offline, okay? All right, yeah. So,
Yeah.
but those days, you really paid attention to what critics would say because it wasn't like how it is now, to where everything's on your Facebook. There wasn't even no Facebook really. Like that was we.
Was there no
No,
IMDb's?
no, that's how I found about The Evil Dead. Was it was in a book. There
It
was
was a
a
book.
certain ones. I think it was like a mom and pop video center in
Mhm.
Canton, Massachusetts. And they had this book that was like, it looked like a giant phone book, and you opened it up,
Yeah,
and it was like,
movies.
like when I went to Army of Darkness, I think half the time the descriptions were wrong. So it was like, but I think it was like bumbling idiot goes back in time to try to stop an army of the dead,
Wow.
fails miserably and tries again. 2.5 stars, Army of Darkness, prequel, Evil Dead. And it was
Yeah.
like something weird like
That is
that.
weird. That's weird.
And
It
it
was
was like,
weird
but
back then, but
yeah.
now it's like and here's a perfect example. On my main channel, like Hunting the Dead, I got 250,000 followers on there. If I go on YouTube today and post a video that says Jody goes to the hospital, it's people are gonna go nuts for it. If I go on
Yeah.
there and put Jody has a good day, it's gonna do mediocre. Like
Right.
Yep.
people
Yeah.
Yep.
love that drama, and
People love drama. It's horrible.
and I think critics see that because of the algorithms, and they're like, "Ooh, if I say something bad about the new
Yeah.
Terrifier movie, will it do better than if I say something good?" Absolutely,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
but you
Yeah.
really can't. It's like, how can you can't say anything bad about like any of the films we've mentioned? Dude, I even love the shittiest independent horror films. I'll watch films that everybody else leaves within 5 minutes, and I sit there to the end, and I'm like, I give that guy an A for effort for what he tried to do. Like, I still have
Yeah.
love for them. But I would never, like, on this channel, like we don't say anything bad about anybody, like
Mhm.
you give them an A for effort always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, making a film, it doesn't matter how much money you had, doesn't matter. It's never easy. And
Yeah.
It's
it
never
is
easy.
no, it's just every single film. I went through the same thing. Last Call was supposed to be my last short film. And I
Mm.
was like, I'm never making a short film again. And then you get the itch, but at the same time, because my reasons is just because I put it was the amount of hell that I went through making that film after an editor that stole the film for 6 months and all this crazy shit. And it was it's like I'm like, well, there's 5 years of my life dedicated to one film.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a short. And I'm like, if I'm gonna dedicate 5 years, I want to be able to actually have a feature or do something like that. And that's
Yeah.
but then it's like, features are so hard to get off the ground, getting someone to put in the money, getting someone to do this, getting someone to
Yeah.
do that. And it's just, we're all just trying, but like anybody that can get that film and get it somewhere where you can see it, you know, it's like, look, you at least get respect, you
Yeah.
know, the respect of being able to accomplish it. Am I gonna enjoy watching it? That's on me. But
Right.
like, you know, look, you know, most of the people that trash films and just trash and trash and trash so much stuff, I don't think I've ever had to sit there and actually make a movie, you know,
Hmm.
and especially when it comes to
Yeah.
indies, it's so hard. It's so hard to get anything, you know.
It's true,
Mm.
man. It's true. It is a sadness, but it's also like fuel to the fire. I don't know if you're like me, dude, but like I love, like I've always been that guy. Like I love when somebody tells me I can't do something or I'm going to fail. Like I
Yeah.
swear to God, like that they have helped me. I actually wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for them. So like I don't know if a lot of people. I wish a lot more people did that because it really breaks some people down, and I hate to see that. But
Yeah.
if you can look at it in that aspect, man, it's like, dude, people really give you armor to face just the shit that you would never be able to face if they didn't give you a hard time. It's like, because I got bullied too when you're saying that, and I
Mhm.
was like, you know what? Like, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be like the hard ass that I am now in the aspect of
Exactly.
protecting my family. Like, I'm not a hard, I'm a loving guy, but
Yeah.
you step in my circle and try and hurt somebody, you're
Right.
like, dude, you made a beast, and you made it to use in the right time, in the right space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great thing. I like you guys, man. You guys are freaking
Oh,
awesome. I'm so happy
Oh.
you found each other.
so are you, man.
Thank you. And you guys are doing great things, and I really I can't wait to see more of it. And after I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm like, dude, he looks so familiar. So I think I have seen something with you or things with you. I just, I'm one of those guys until more recently. I could tell you what films I love, but I didn't always go down the rabbit hole. And now that like I'm doing the podcast, I'm like, I gotta see who made this film that one time I liked. So, I'm happy to. I can't wait to check out some stuff, and I probably already seen some stuff you've done. When you said the name of that film earlier, I was like, did I see that? I
Hey,
probably did.
which one?
The skin film. I want to wear your skin. I'm like, dude, that sounds
Oh,
like I feel like I've seen that before, but I didn't want to say yes or no because I didn't want to be that guy where you're like, well, what happened, Jody?
yeah.
Uh
Yeah, well, that one's
Well, it was called I Want to Wear Your Skin. I
I'm
see the
hoping
whole
to
thing.
have it like released. We're hoping to have it released end of the year or early next year. And try to get it out there because it is part of a horror anthology. So we're trying to get the rest of those, made and all that stuff. But I mean, I want to try to also make it so that we can have a feature ready. I want to be able to right now the wave is how it goes. It
Mhm.
goes there's a slasher wave, then there's the ghost wave. And right now we are back in the amazing era of slashers. They have
Right.
come back. We love slashers. 80 slashers. I have a Blu-ray DVD collection that is insane.
Yes.
I have over like 2,000 Blu-rays, DVDs,
Ooh, okay.
4Ks.
Yeah, I
You
think
We're
you
know.
probably
literally a
got me
streaming
beat over here.
service. I mean, you're literally a streaming service at this point. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you are literally, yeah.
That's
Any
dope
movie
though.
he has, it's phenomenal.
yeah, and
God bless you.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's we don't have video centers anymore, so I have to have that video center in my place,
Same.
and but it's like I forget where I was going with that. I lost my train of thought completely.
It's the love for horror, man, and actually, if you grew up loving horror, you're a huge horror fan. Once you like get into filmmaking, it makes you love horror 10 times more. I noticed for me at least, and most of the people I talk to, it seems like it's the same thing. It's like, and now you look at the horror films in a different way, and obviously, it's been rubbing off on Lauren too, where she's like,
Oh yeah,
I know how they lit that, So I was like,
I cannot tell you I am like so excited to just because I know of what I want to do now. Like I'm so excited because I've watched horror my whole life and now I'm like excited and I'm like can I actually do it? Like I'm like
yeah.
so excited. I'm so excited. I'm
You
so
you can. I can tell you got a tremendous amount of potential, and obviously he
excited.
can too. But
Mhm.
I think
gotcha.
this is just the beginning. You're young, right? Like how old are you?
You want to guess? This is a game.
Oh no,
This is a
don't do
game for
this to me. I'm not
everybody.
playing stream. I'm not playing stream.
Okay. So, how old do you think I am? Since I don't know what a video movie store is.
Oh my god, this is bad.
Fuck.
I'm putting you on the spot. This is your podcast, and I'm putting you on the spot.
Honestly, you just turned 20.
That's a compliment. Do you want to tell him
She's turning 22.
next week?
Okay. All right. Well, dude. Okay. Okay. Not far, but that's good. You know
Not
that
far
that's
off.
good. Yeah.
You know, I can't even count on like one hand how many times I've been at like a bar or whatever, and I'm trying to get a drink, and no, can we see your ID? I'm like, yeah, of course. I've had a few times where they like bend the ID, they
Mhm.
flip it around, they're like really inspecting
Is
that
this
thing.
real?
Is it
Yeah.
real? Because like they first of all, I'm only 4'11". I'm very small, so like they
Oh,
look at me.
whoa!
They're like,
I didn't know that.
I'm very small. Yeah, very very small. So like they look at me and they're like, is that like a child? Like,
Wait,
Oh my
wait,
God.
wait. You're 4'11".
yes.
She's short.
Holy shit! Okay. I see her pictures, but like, you don't get that from the picture. Like Marcus,
Yeah.
like,
A lot of people
Yeah.
tell me that
Yeah.
I look taller in my pictures.
I could just see Marcus walking through a Walmart and be like, "Oh, you have such a lovely daughter."
Oh God.
And I'm not saying that like he looks. I'm not saying like it looks older, but you do.
He
You
doesn't
look
look
very,
older.
very young, and being 4'11", that's got to be like
It's funny.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's a
it's
good
funny.
thing. It's a good thing for filmmakers, especially.
But it's really funny because there is a photo
Oh no.
online with her, me, and Michael. And we went to a friend's screening. And Michael and I are like standing and I'm like it's like this hell and she's
I'm
like,
like,
here on
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
She's like
And it's
right where she is right now.
Listen, and the funny thing is, I'm not gonna grow.
yeah.
I'm not gonna
Dude,
grow.
that is like that is awesome. I think it is. I would have never called that. So, all right,
Really?
I think you still work for the part in the script, but I'm definitely I'll be in communications with you soon.
Okay.
4'11". I'll be damned.
Where am I then?
You know what? I think you think about like when you're casting people, you don't think about that part of it. Like they see the look, you see like you hear them talk, and you're like, I think they could pull this off. And then you realize you're killer 6'5". You're like, he's gonna have to swing a little bit low, Michael.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, I mean, you have to look at, like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is like what, 5'4"?
Dude, I know. You
He
would never
really?
guess
Tom
that.
Cruise is small. That's why they call.
Wait, what? Oh, wait, this is like the first time of me hearing this. I'm not even lying.
Oh,
When he
yeah,
was
no.
jumping on that couch on that TV show, I don't know if it was like Ellen or something. Like I was like, dude, he's a little guy.
Yeah, and not only that, but Tom Cruise, they call it when they
Oh no.
with short people, they put apple boxes on the ground to get them at certain heights, so they call it the Tom Cruise. That's
Am I gonna need apple boxes?
You probably will, but it's fine.
No,
It's fine.
you're in a good pocket, kid.
Yeah.
And kid, you're not fucking kid. You're an adult. All right, Jody.
See, I told you. See, listen.
Yeah.
But I think that I think they had this talk. I don't remember what it was about or when, but it was something that when you see obviously you have your Michael Myers, you have Billy Loomis's, whatever, you have them, but then you also have the really small innocent petite girl that's like a psychopath.
I think that's a good thing. I can see like a lot depending on like what kind of role you play. I would do a lot of shooting up shots to make it look like the killer would be even bigger than you are. Like if he's already big enough, but like you shoot it upwards and it's like, oh shit,
It's
dude, he's a giant compared to this girl. I think it actually could be a really great thing.
Yeah.
Think about the movie May with Angela Bettis. Oh, I gotta show you May.
Is it a horror movie?
Yeah, it's great.
Have you seen it?
I'm trying to think. I'm like, dude, why am I thinking of Pearl? No, May.
No, this predates Pearl, which Pearl's also great. It's so May came out I think in 2005. It was Lucky McKee that directed. It was like his directorial debut.
Oh,
he made this movie called May about this like very mousy, quiet, like nerdy, introverted girl that goes around killing people basically that she falls in love with or something. I haven't seen it in a while, but she takes their body parts to create a friend.
Wow, dude, I gotta see that. You've sold me. You don't even. You sold me. You sold me. Like I'm definitely watching that.
It has her. Angela Bettis plays May, and Jeremy Sisto from Wrong Turn. Um, he's like the lovable guy that gets killed first in Wrong Turn. The one with like the yellow shirt.
I'm the biggest Wrong Turn fan you'll ever meet in your life. I think it's the most beautiful franchise ever done. And like, I've never been that guy that's like tried to, like, it's never been in my mind like I'm gonna work for like somebody else. I'm more than willing to work for people, do work for people, help. But like, that's one of those ones where secretly in the back of my mind, it's like, dude, I'd love to get a piece of that action, and just one before they end that franchise if they ever do.
I don't think they ever will end Wrong Turn. I mean,
I hope not. I think there's not only a fan base, but I think there's just a continued fan base. Like even like the newer generation that might have missed, some of it. Like
yeah.
they're figuring out new ways to keep it interesting. And that last one was a little far out there, but it was actually really good, especially the ending of it. I don't know if you've seen it, but
I've seen him. My buddy Damien's in that movie. He's one of the villagers.
Whoa, Damien? Like Damien?
Yeah.
Damien
Like,
Leone.
No.
Oh, okay. You had me tripping there. I'm like, how the frick did I miss that? Like that would have been some shit.
No. Damien Maffei, who played
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. I enjoyed that film, and I wasn't expecting it, but by the end of it, I was like, dude, that's crazy. I would have never guessed, but they did something unique, and now I hope they come back with Three Finger and all the people, and
yeah.
so.
I miss Three Finger and all of them. I mean, they made so many of those, and it was interesting to see them take the series in this like almost cult. I don't even know how to explain it. I have to make you watch this movie. It's so different. And what a lot of people said is what hurt that film the most is the fact that, because it's a good film, is just the fact that it's called Wrong Turn. Because it's, in reality, nobody takes a wrong turn in that movie. If you really want to think about it. And I'm like, oh, okay. But you know what?
I get it. But there's something about in reality, like when we do come with, I find myself all the time in positions because I do a lot of traveling, and I'm just like, man, if I go to the left, I might end up off the grid. The internet could be poor, cell service is terrible. Then you start looking at the area and you're like, oh, this is sketchy. Oh yeah, look at this. So I don't know. I see the appeal there, and I've always feel that they've sold it, even if they actually didn't make the wrong turn. There's something about it that it's just like the idea that they've implanted that in your mind is like, this shit can happen, it does happen. So
yeah, I think I love just, I think it's more of like, well, Final Destination, I think semi did it pretty well. I think like movies that realistically can happen, meaning, God forbid, plane crashes, like, you know what I mean, like stuff like that. It is realistic. It's not like, zombies coming out of the ground to kill you. It's
right,
real life things that can actually, hurt you. So I think that horror is a whole different group on its own.
it is. It's its
We
own
have the
entity, but
fantasy
it's a
horror,
beautiful
and then
one.
we have the we have the more like realistic. Oh crap! This could actually happen.
Yeah, I'm stoked to see what they do with the next Final Destination film. I think it's one of those franchises. It's going to probably be around forever as well. So
yeah. I mean, and the thing about the Final Destination movies too is that it's like they've set themselves up where they don't. It's not a franchise that is helped out by a returning cast. They can just do a new one.
It's like the core story, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, I miss when films were just films and they didn't all have to be intertwined and connected in trilogies. And, it's like, I think it's why James Bond lasted for so long was because even if James Bond, whatever, was a bad one. Whatever. We got a new one and it could be better.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to interlock with each other.
Exactly. Right. Now it's like, everything has to be connected, and I think Final Destination is one of those franchises that every story is the same. I mean, not the same, but they're all different worlds almost.
Right.
Granted, they're like, oh yeah, well this happened on flight 157 or whatever the flight was.
Scream. I mean, it kind of still followed each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there's something special there for sure, obviously, and that's one thing that I think we're seeing now with the slasher films. You're seeing it with like Terrifier. I'm happy that he's continuing to go. One of the coolest moments in the last interview with Phil was him saying that, oh, there's gonna be a 4, and I'm like, can you please say that again? Like we know that, but it's like the fans, they want that confirmation when they find something they love. and
Right.
and I was sad to see like the whole Hatchet thing end. I was a huge Hatchet fan, and
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
dude, it just I mean, I don't know that it's ended, but he kind of left it in the air to where he made it seem like it's ended. And I hate when they do that. And I'm like, leave us some hope on the table. But he did say one thing. He said if a studio or somebody decides they want to do something with it later on, then they can do it, but I'm done. And I get that, because there has to be an end to everything. I know Damien, he's dropped those like hints that there's going to be an end to the Terrifier franchise in his head, and I don't know if that's true or not. I think it's easy to say that, and we all want to see a good ending, but we don't want it to end.
I
Oh, I sense it. You don't even have to say those words. I
yeah,
can
I
see you
can't
holding
say
back there, you
anything.
little. Yeah,
But
he knows some shit.
He
yeah.
knows. He knows.
Yeah, but no, but to the Hatchet stuff, like I will give the Adam Green this, and I love Adam Green. I still think his best movie is Frozen. I think it's an underrated
One of my favorites.
masterpiece.
Yeah.
And I will say this: he did the most brilliant thing with the Hatchet series, because we all thought Hatchet was done after 3.
Yeah.
And then he did a 10-year anniversary of Hatchet 1, and he was like, we're going to get the whole cast there and buy your tickets now. And people were like, oh, yeah, like Hatchet fans were like, let's do it. And they showed up, and instead of it saying Hatchet when it started, it said Victor Crowley, and it was part 4. He secretly shot an entire part 4
under a different name,
under a different everything. Nobody knew about it, and he released it, and people that showed up to see Hatchet ended up seeing part 4.
Yeah,
and I thought that was
wow.
brilliant. I thought it was one of the most brilliant moves, and I enjoyed Victor Crowley. And I am sad to hear he doesn't want to do another one.
Yeah.
But I think, look, I'm somebody that I need a 5 of things.
Yeah.
It kills me that we don't have Lethal Weapon 5,
Oh, same here, dude. Wow. And I told you, I'm not big outside of the horror genre, but I am with you there. 100%.
Lethal Weapons. I grew up with those. The way I describe my best friend and I back home is we are literally Riggs and Murtaugh. That is our relationship.
That's so cool.
Oh yeah, you see us together, and we talk the same way, we act the same way. We would both grab the cat when the whole building was blowing up, and said, just grab the cat, and ran out of the building as it all blew up and destroyed half the block. Great. But I miss those movies. I miss the buddy cop comedies. I was showing her Nice Guys.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which is done by Shane Black, who wrote Lethal Weapon, and is one of the crew in Predator, the original Predator. And it's the last new buddy cop comedy that I think is just fantastic. She loves it.
Yes.
Yeah. No, they're good films. I pray to God they get one more for sure. But
it's supposed to be. Word is there.
I see that too, and I hear that, but it's kind of like the Beetlejuice effect. For so long they talked about it, and and I hope so. I mean, it makes sense. I've heard so many people say that once you have an established name as an indie filmmaker, the studios will let you touch anything you want if they know it already has a fan base. It's up for grabs pretty much, because they know people are going to go and see it. That's a powerful thing, but that also sucks, because that means then that new filmmaker, Damian Lee, not that he's new, but Damian, other people out there, even Adam Green, like, we look forward to their original ideas. Like, that's cool. They can touch whatever. I want to see Damien do Friday the 13th, by the way. I heard him mention that one time.
Yeah.
I would love that. But then it's like, I also want to see like more original shit, and that's what I'm holding out for.
Well, that's why I love Edgar Wright. Like, speaking of Edgar, I mean, doing his own things, but he's now doing The Running Man. But like, he was supposed to do Ant-Man, and he walked away from the project because he said They didn't want a film by Edgar Wright. They wanted a Marvel film with the Edgar Wright name. So he like walked away, and then he did Baby Driver. But he has been someone that has done his own thing with every film, every single film. And I think he has not had a miss. And now he's doing The Running Man, but he's doing it to the book. So it's not going to be like a big, beefy guy, which is what it was never supposed to be. The original one had Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. And the whole King always hated it because he's like, it's supposed to be this scrawny, weenie guy that's like, not the guy that you think is going to win this thing. And Arnold comes in as, fresh off of Mr. Olympia, being like, I'm coming in here. I'm the guy you're not going to expect to win. Like,
Yeah, man.
No,
that's he actually does it really good. That's awesome, dude. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
No, hey, listen, if they are gonna do it, it is cool when they put their own spin on it. Just like how Robert Edgers is touching Nosferatu now. I'm so stoked about that. I can't wait to know if he shot that. I'm sure he probably did, knowing him. It looks like it was shot on film. It's just got like a crazy color palette there, dude. It's insane looking, but we gotta wait till December for that. So, we'll try and act patient, but I'm not.
We got Maxine coming out this week.
Dude, we are spoiled this year. I've been waiting for a new Silent Hill forever. Like they keep on saying, it's gonna happen. It's not. So yeah. It's a great year, man. I'm super stoked. But you guys have been awesome, dude. I'd love to have you back on in the future, especially you got some new projects or something you want to talk about, promote. And just real quick, your names and where people can find you.
All right, so my name is Lauren Alenia. I have Instagram, I have YouTube, and it is just under Lauren Alenia, Alenia, because a lot of people don't know how to spell my last name.
Really?
I like it. I got it right earlier, but I'm glad you spelled it for the people to find, because people.
A lot of people say like Alenia, or like and it's like Alina, and there's like a little I.
My boy Marcus Slabine over here.
Twitter. Yeah. Wait, now you purposely have to say your name wrong.
Oh no, I'm not. No, literally every single person, and I will give you this. You nailed it right the first time.
Yes.
So I'm Marcus Slabine. You can find my Instagram, which is the main thing I use, which is just Marcus Slabine, and I'll pop up. You can also follow Eras of Terror, which is going to be the horror anthology that we're working on. That will also include I Want Your Skin. Also, make sure to follow Stream Franchise on Instagram as well. Pre-order those tickets for Stream because it's coming out August 21st.
There will be blood.
There's going
Yes.
tons of blood. It is going to be incredible, and it's going to be a film that honestly I think people are going to absolutely love. And if you are a horror fan, you're going to spend half the movie. You're going to have to see it twice because you spend half the movie being like, oh shit, is that this one? Is that this guy? It's just such a fun, awesome, gory film, but it also has a lot of heart to it. And we all poured a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Michael directed a hell of a movie. It's all in-house with Terrifier. It's all in-house with the whole team, and can't wait for everyone to see it. And then, of course, Terrifier 3.
Yes.
I love it, dude. You guys had me at blood. Every time you said blood, I'm like, oh, I'm in. Ooh, I'm in. and when this whole thing's said and done, and you put out I Want Your Skin movie, I'm going to make a parody called I Want Your Rims. Give me your rims. No, I'm just kidding. I'm never going to do that. I can't wait to support your film. Guys, go follow them on social media. Stay on here for a second, fam, and like, comment, subscribe. Make sure your notifications are on. Horror filmmaking, what's to come, what's going on, reactions, podcast, you name it, we got it. Thank you guys so much for the support. Love you all. But until next time, sweet nightmares.